I could see being able to file after 6 if I served the 6 first, but I served the 2 first. So.
I will give you that information for sure. Okay.
I know that they've, the Senate Bill 201, that there is a presumed, what is it, earned early release? But if I'm correct, no one's ever qualified for it. Not one person's ever been released early.
So that could be considered, like, in that perspective, like, time, potentially, like, based on the programs you're doing.
Well, so the way that when I read the administrative code, it says that it's either a 5, 10, or 15, and I only qualify for a 10 because it came on.
All rise.
Seated. Guybridge. We're before you today on State versus Jerry Karpovich, files 23 CR 794 and 23 CR 1133. We're here today for sentencing. State of Ohio is prepared to go forward. Thank you.
Botany?
With regard to the sentencing, Your Honor, we would just ask for any type of leniency with regard to sentencing. I know one of the issues that was sent for remand was regarding the affidavit of indigency. My office did have an opportunity to receive an affidavit of indigency in both cases that were described to be completed, and that has been filed with the court on the 23rd, which was yesterday. With regard to Mr. Karpovich and what he has been doing since he's last seen you, Your Honor, from my understanding, he has maintained sobriety. He has been a student at Marion Tech. He's made the dean's list. He actually received a 4.0 with regard to the studies that he has been ongoing. And he is also a tutor at the prison for anybody with trying to attain a GED. Additionally, Your Honor, he has completed a CDL class. Such documentation has been provided to the court regarding all the endeavors Mr. Karpovich has completed while he is staying in prison. Additionally, there's been letters submitted from family on his behalf, and I know Mr. Karpovich would like to speak to the court as well when deemed necessary. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Karpovich, what do you want to tell me?
I want to apologize to the court, the state, the probation department, my community, and my family for my words, my words, choices, and actions during my drug use from 2022 to 2024. I suffered from extreme drug-induced cognitive dissonance. My perception of reality was so warped, I refused to show any remorse. Take responsibility or accountability for my choices. Over the past year, I've reread my transcripts multiple times. And each time I do, I'm dumbfounded on how ridiculous I sounded. I can only imagine what I wrote on my pre-sentence investigation, including my words to Ms. Wagan from probation. I can't believe I behaved in that manner, and I'm truly ashamed. I'm not only using my words to apologize, but a wise person once told me that a true apology isn't about what's said, it's about changing the behavior in which warranted the apology. So I did. I did something about it. Your Honor, your words at sentencing stuck with me, and I quote, "The reason you don't do anything about it is because you don't do anything about it." So I did something about it. I was arrested February 17th, 2024. My sobriety date is February 18th, 2024. So I've maintained sobriety just over 2 years now. I just hope the court accepts my apology, along with my community, my family.
Thank you. Ms. Winter, as I understand it, the purpose of the remand was to, in the mind of the Court of Appeals, to tell Mr. Karpovich that the aggregate sentence is actually 8 years to 11 years. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. The 11th District Court of Appeals remanded for limited resentencing with respect to indefinite sentencing, which includes the total definite and indefinite term imposed, and as well as the advisements under Reagan-Tokes, my understanding, based on the court's opinion in paragraph 49, they expect those advisements to be provided as well as the total aggregate term under Reagan-Tokes.
Even though adding 24 months to 6 years and 24 months and 9 years isn't really accurate, since the sentences on the smaller cases identified in months. So I will note for the record that 24 months is equivalent to 2 years, since that was the sentence on 794. So the sentence that I'm going to impose then, which was imposed previously, on, which is imposed right now, is 24 months on 794 and 6 to 9 years on 1133. The aggregate sentence for those two separate cases is 24 months plus 6 years to 24 months plus 9 years. So that is the aggregation I believe the Court of Appeals was looking for. Is that your understanding, Ms. Winter?
Yes, Your Honor, that is my understanding.
The mandatory fine that was imposed is waived pursuant to Ms. Novotny filing the affidavit of indigency. Pursuant to Revised Code 2929.144C, it is rebuttably presumed that the offender will be released from service of the sentence on the expiration of the minimum prison term imposed as part of the sentence, or on the offender's presumptive earned early release date as defined in section 2967.271 of the Revised Code, whichever is earlier. The Department of Rehabilitation and Correction may rebut the presumption described in Division B2C1 of this section if, at the hearing held under 2967.271 of the Revised Code, the Department makes specified determinations regarding the offender's conduct while confined, the offender's rehabilitation, the offender's threat to society, the offender's restrictive housing, if any, while confined, and any offender's security classification. If, as described in B2C2 of this section, the Department at the hearing makes the specified determinations and rebuts the presumption, the Department may maintain the offender's incarceration after the expiration of that minimum term or after that presumptive earned early release date for the length of time the Department determines to be reasonable, subject to the limitations specified in section 2967.271 of the Revised Code. The Department may make the specified determinations and maintain the offender's incarceration under the provisions described in B2C1 and 2 of this section more than one time, subject to the limitations specified in 2967.271 of the Revised Code. If the offender has not been released prior to the expiration of the offender's maximum prison term imposed as part of the sentence, the offender must be released upon the expiration of that term. Ms. Winter, anything further that you see to satisfy the Court of Appeals?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Guybridge?
No, Your Honor, thank
Ms.
you.
Novotny?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, we're adjourned.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and if he wants to keep me in jail, ask him to move my jail, please, because I was going to put my toothbrush and my toothpaste and bring it. They gave me 2 dirty towels 2 days in a row to dry off with when I got out of the shower. Right, so if he moves it, I'm fine with it. I just need to know what he's going to do. There's no, I mean, if I have to, I have to. I shouldn't have to, though. It should definitely be against the law, you know? It should be.
Ms. Novotny?
Your Honor, when it comes to sentence, we would ask for any type of leniency for Ms. Rose. Per my conversation with her, I know she's been in tune with Signature Health. She sees Dr. Mary. I believe she's been a patient there since 2017. She does have 2 sons. She's informed me of a 16 and 18-year-old. She did finish high school and completed some college, Your Honor. With that, we're just asking for any type of leniency. From my understanding, she has a total of 295 days.
What do you want to tell me?
Huh?
What do you want to tell me?
About what? Like,
Well, I'm going to sentence you, so what is it you want to tell me for me to consider?
I mean, definitely learned my lesson over there, you know, and I've apologized to you twice, and I am sorry. I definitely do need to go to Signature Health, but, you know, I think that I know to ask when I need help with the using part, because I know that God's healed me from that, whether anybody believes that or not. However, I do know that I need trauma counseling, is what you recommended, right? Because I really don't know what I need from what's happening over there. But if you do keep me over there, Your Honor, with all due respect, if you could maybe move me to a different jail, you know, because I was going to bring my toothbrush and my toothpaste with me. They gave me 2 dirty towels last night and 1 the night before after my shower, right? So if maybe we can just, you know, is that good? Is that all right there? You know, it's whatever you think is best, you know, because it's temporary, and I've definitely learned, I can say that. You know, and as long as they can't turn off my water illegally anymore because they're upset with me because my rights were violated. And I don't want you to think I'm getting loud with you, because I'm not, but we're still people, you know, over there across the street. So they're not all bad, but, you know, they want to kill me. A lot of them do. They may not say it, but they do. And Anderson, the CO's over there. So like Miss Anderson, like when, you know, for her, what she's done to me in Dublin, I know Anderson is going to use that she blacks out because she's already said that. You know, and my parents said not to mention anybody else that I know has been, you know, mentally and emotionally and physically abused over there besides myself. And I'm probably just going to stop right there, if that's okay, Your Honor.
Well, since you've been involved in this case, you've done everything you can to resist treatment. You told me that from the outset you just wanted to go to prison.
Yeah, I think I've been done beyond prison over there. That's probably worse than concentration camp.
And then when I put you on 5 years of probation,
Okay, sir.
you told me you were going to get kicked out of jail treatment. Did she complete jail treatment?
Nope, no.
No, Your Honor, she refused.
Okay. And then I sent you to NeoCap.
Mm-hmm.
And
And they tried to put me in a
you
cold
lasted
shower.
overnight.
Sorry to interrupt you.
You lasted overnight.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So you don't want any, you don't want any of this. Obviously, you don't want any of this, because you didn't want it from the start. And I gave it a try anyway twice, seeing if you would wake up a little bit. And you haven't. And now, when you were here on December 9th and probable cause was found, I set this for a final hearing June 9th. The only reason you're over here in February is because you're causing so many problems over there that, they're sick of you. But you're claiming that everybody's out to get you over there?
Oh, I can prove that, Your Honor. I'm not being disrespectful to you at all. I'm just telling you.
Then why is this limited? Why don't any other people over there that I know of experience all these same problems?
Can you talk maybe for me? Because I really don't know where to start, like...
Go ahead.
Right. So it's just, I guess, it's whatever you say, Your Honor, because it's temporary. And any more abuse over there, really, that they've already done to
Well,
me by turning
you're
off
right.
my water illegally, not getting me treatment to a hospital. When that girl jumped me, right, from 9:30 on my dad's birthday in Case, imagine that. God talks in parables. Right. She was the one I told right in front of the nursing. You know what they were worried about, Your Honor, was my nose ring, right? When I told her that my head, my neck, and my back was swollen. Or how about Haynes, who left me laying on the floor butt naked, okay, with West there, begging for clothes overnight, right, with my water off. Yeah, I flooded my cell one time, right, because I begged in the window, even to the nurse who said she would see me the next day. Both of them, well, the older one and the older one again, and then they all came down after all my kites went in. But besides that, in cell 1, right, where I'm begging them for help, I'm laying on the floor hyperventilating in a bag, and Dublin and Anderson tricked me down into cell 8, and they leave me laying there in drool, no water, dehydrated, begging. Like I said, the only time Haynes came down, or West, or Lavelle, when I had to beg for water, was to watch me lay there butt naked until Marino came the next day and found me on the floor and gave me clothes. And I'm not trying to get loud at all. Okay, so then after that, what happens is Charnas comes in and she saves me, literally. She moves me from cell 8 to cell 5. Best thing she ever did for me, because they did that to me. So anyways, they put me down there and I begged them to call my emergency contact. Even Simpson, I got him confused with Eldridge at first, and Trumbull, the female one. I begged them to call my dad, right, my emergency contact, because they asked me if that. You know what he told me? I'm not going to do that. Right. So he sees the condition that I'm in and he's still okay with that. And I get that I broke the law, but they did too. So whatever, you do to me, Your Honor, that hopefully somebody holds them liable, for what they did, because they're not all bad over there, but them ones are rotten. They should at least have fingerprints and not be able to have their job anymore. They shouldn't. That's just my opinion on that. And that's where it starts, begging for a hospital. And then the nurse comes down to see me, and she wants to know I have a mask on my face, not the fact that I'm swollen. All of them were in there, all of them, all the nurses, the 2 older women, the one with the braid in her hair, the longer one, and the guy, okay? And she wants to know I have a mask on my face. Well, Cosley, it was probably unintentional, but she sprayed bug spray in cell 8 for me the night prior to that. And then she shut me in there. And I had to ask her to open the vent, and I still couldn't breathe. The water was still off. So I asked her for a mask. She gives me it on her middle finger, but I think that was just probably not intentional. And so then the nurse comes the next day to see me because I put all those kites in, a couple of days later. And she says, I tell her about my head, my neck, and my back, still swollen. And you know what she tells me? Why do you have a mask on your face? So there you go. Again, she's worried about the mask on my face and nothing else, and still refuses to call my dad. They find me guilty. Joint and Cook do. And I ask her, because Joint signs the paper, but Cook is the one who did the hearing. You know what she told me verbally twice? I was doing a report. Well, then why the heck did he sign it? And I don't know if those are recorded or not, but I'm pretty sure I told them I needed a hospital too. They found me guilty of that. They found me guilty of that. And I didn't close the door on her. She literally, if you watch the whole video, but Case said that the fight wasn't caught on camera. Bullcrap. I refuse to agree with that, period. Usually I fight back, but I don't know what happened, to my head, literally. There's a couple times I laid in my own drool in the cell, begging them. I was kicking the doors. Yes, I was doing that because they threw me in there on my dad's birthday and wouldn't even let me call him. And then they moved me downstairs, and then everything just falls apart over there. My mom says not to make it a revolving door, and I will never be back to that jail, not on that side. Probably not on any side. I don't know. I'm not certain on that. And let me just say, I forget where I was going with that. So that's just the start. And Lavelle comes in my cell, okay? She takes my toothbrush the one time they moved me downstairs just to bully me. She took my Bible. Anderson, she refused my Bible to me, and they say a certain Bible? No, any Bible. She told me to chill out first. Well, they locked me down illegally because the son quit trying to tell me which hand I had to put an armband on, whether I'm left or right. I'm both, but more left. So he locked me upstairs. And let me think. Then the public pretender's office, no offense because I like her, Bill Watson, blocks me and I still can't get through. I just want to know. I just want to know why. That's it. And nobody wants to tell me that. So if you still keep me in jail or you send me to prison, I'm good with that. Just tell me what my sentence is. And if you can move me to a different jail where I'm not afraid to eat their food, have dirty towels, leave my toothbrush in there, be able to clean my cell without putting the mop bucket right outside the door intentionally. And having to scrub it with the bleach bar. One time I did do that, but I usually put the soap in the toilet because it's better than none at all. And I did make them carry me through the jail. Why? Because that's a story. So I thought it was because I said Padilla's pussy stank, right? I'm sorry to use that term in here, but I'm just being blunt and honest with you. The day they sprayed me, that I finally broke in front of my parents, right? So, and I think it's because they seen they couldn't break me because I just God Christ the whole time, 2 hours in the chair, because that's who saves me. I thought God hated me, but he doesn't, because I'm still here. So anyways, justice, go figure. God, parables, turns off my water, but they leave the hot on just that much, right? And I'm begging for a plunger. To those people who have the little Save-A-Life pins on their shirt, they should have to take that class again. Or not even have one, because you know what? I use drugs, and I would rather say that than to say I'm mentally ill like some of them people over there who can just abuse people like that. And it is. I'm going to say it's like the Bible, chasing after the wind. And then there's people, there's good people, I hope. There has to be. You guys lock up really bad people. Yeah, and I don't know how you guys do it. I don't, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
All right, Ms. Canales, how many days does she have?
Your Honor, she has 96 days on this violation and 295 total.
Okay, clearly, as I indicated previously, you've, from the start, made it clear you didn't want to be on probation and do what was required. So you have abandoned your community control sanction. So I'm going to terminate your community control, sentence you to 12 months in prison with credit for 295 days. Now, you're right, Ms. Rose, that what I do is just temporary. What you do may result in some permanence depending on what you do, okay? You've played with permanence before with your overdosing. So if you get out and you continue to do that, then there's the permanency. So you'll get out, nobody's going to have you, nobody's going to tell you where you have to go, what you have to do, whatever conditions you have. You're going to determine what course you take by the actions that you take. Anything else, Ms. Novotny?
No, Your Honor.
I have a question. Can I ask you two things?
Go ahead.
Number one is, so when they refuse you your Bible, what is that?
Well, I'm not going to get into that because
Because they're guilty. And my second thing, Your Honor, is I hope you're making a great example out of me for the rest of them across the street. Because I had the Good Samaritan law that should have protected me and it didn't. They don't have one to protect them.
I don't make examples out of people.
You're making one out of me and I...
People come here and I give them the sentence I think is appropriate based on the circumstances. Now, you came here from the beginning and didn't want to hear anything about treatment because you knew better, you just wanted to go to prison. Okay, now if I wanted to make an example out of you, I'd have put you in prison for 36 months. That's what I would have done. Okay? But I didn't do that. I put you on probation. You violated right away. I kept you on probation. You violated again. Now you're here. If I wanted to make an example out of you today, I'd have given you 36 months. Did I give you 36 months?
No, sir, you did not.
All rise.
In this courtroom scene, the judge firmly controls the proceedings while ensuring fairness. By carefully listening to both sides and giving clear, measured responses, the judge maintains order and focus. The serious tone reflects the importance of justice, showing how facts, evidence, and legal principles guide a fair outcome. Thanks for watching.